Well, good evening. Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing today? Welcome to Talking Songs with me, Rowland Jones. And this is episode number 18, I think. And thanks for all your support over these bleak months that we've had this Tuesday to keep us on our toes and keep us doing stuff and chatting and playing and listening and just generally having a good time. So I got a very, very special guest on tonight. So I want to get her in as soon as possible. So I'm going to I have to sing this song first because this is totally appropriate. It's called Never Been to Memphis, which when I wrote it, I hadn't. But approximately this time 4 years ago, I was in Memphis. And after that, went to Mississippi, which I'll bring you to in a minute. This is called I've Never Been to Memphis, never been to Tennessee, but I've been down to the crossroads and everybody passed by me. I've never been to Memphis, never been to Tennessee. No, I've never been to Memphis, never been to Tennessee. But I've been down to the crossroads and everybody passed by me. I ain't no Delta blues bound, can't tell a nickel from a dime. No, I ain't no Delta blues bound, can't tell a nickel from a dime. But I woke up early in the morning, I found dead cats on the line. Now he has got a mojo and a Johnny Conqueroo. He's a hoochie coochie man, no but a voodoo boogie on you. I said, good God blues, won't you ever set me free? Though I've never been to Memphis, blues feels like home to me. I've never been on a killing floor, I've never picked a bail, but I've been where the thrill has gone. I felt a hellhound on my trail. I said, good God blues, won't you help me set me free? Though I've never been to Memphis, blues feels like home to me. I've never been to Memphis, never been to Tennessee. No, I've never been to Memphis, never been to Tennessee. I've been down to the crossroads and everybody passed by me. But I've been down to the crossroads and everybody passed by me. But I've been down to the crossroads and everybody passed by me. I enjoyed that. Now I'd like to introduce you all to Rachelle Coba. Hi, Rachelle.
Hey, I've been
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm trying to get the watch party set up and stuff. So glad you had me on mute. That got a little crazy.
Does that mute you? Oh, yes, it must do, mustn't it? I thought it just muted what was coming out of this end.
Well, I hope so.
Well, you're not muted now. You're all right.
That's okay. That's good.
So just to give the folk out there a bit of the background, it was exactly 4 years ago to the day.
Isn't that crazy?
It's weird. It was the second Tuesday of the month, which was live music night in Hambone. And I don't know whether you know this part of the story. We were wandering around. We'd planned to go to Reds. We'd planned to go to Ground Zero. And this, I think must have been our first full day of being in Clarksdale, which for the blues fans out there, you will know, of course, is the home of the Crossroads. And we were wandering around, and there was a guy writing something on a chalkboard outside Hambone, and it said live music tonight. And I said, oh, the blues band. And he went, yeah. I said, any chance I can sit in with a band? And he said, yeah, it won't be a problem. Not at all, mate. Not a problem. I said, you sure? He said, well, I'm the drummer.
Lee.
And it was Lee. It was Lee. The drummer. So anyway, and there was Lee Williams, yeah, and Heather Cross on bass.
Yeah, Heather Cross was on Roof Records there for a while.
Sorry?
Heather Cross was on Roof Records, I think, at that time.
All right.
Or Ruff or Roof or one of those pronunciations.
So we went back that night and walked in, and Heather called me up on stage, and I sat in with Rachelle. I don't know. It was such good fun. I watched the video again the other night, actually.
Right? I didn't know you. I was checking it out.
Have you not seen it?
I watched it after you posted it. I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, wow, Rowland's got some serious chops.
It was such fun, though. It was such fun. It was great.
Did I give you the surprise after you played or before you played? I think I did it after. I was nice to you.
No, it was about halfway through.
Oh.
whilst Heather was deciding what to play next, Rachelle suddenly whispers to me, have you seen Charlie Musselwhite and the band are in the room? And there weren't many people in, actually. I think his band took up half the space. So that was a little bit unnerving.
Yeah.
But, here we are 4 years later. Rachelle, how are you doing? How are you doing? What are you going to play us a song?
First thing I'm going to play is we both discussed that we had written Never Been to Memphis songs. And I never been to Memphis song. I hadn't been there either.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to be totally honest. I had a thing against the IBC in Memphis.
Right.
What's a contest for blues? If you had, like, let's just pick the three kings, Albert King, Freddie King, and B.B. King in a blues contest. Who the hell would you pick? You either play the blues or you don't. I didn't realize what a great networking thing it was and became. So people kept wanting me to do it, and I refused, and they go, oh, you've never been to Memphis? No, I've never been to Memphis. And it was just this conversation around. It was like, I got to write a song about it. So, and a friend of mine, you want to go to Memphis, we can just go. You don't have to do that thing. We'll just get in the car,
Yeah.
So here's the song, my song, Never Been to Memphis.
Excellent.
Can you hear that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not using my loop station today. This is full on straight up kind of acoustic. Mississippi, I've been down in New Orleans. I've been across this country to and fro, but I ain't never seen the humble blues and rock and roll. I ain't never been to Memphis. I ain't never been to Memphis. I ain't never been to Memphis. I got a living goal in my soul. I know they get to Memphis ain't as hard as. Just need to take a gas, a guitar, and my favorite blue jeans. I wanna see Stax Records and B.B. King's Sun Records in Graceland. That's my secret blues dream. I ain't never been to Memphis. I ain't never been to Memphis. I ain't never been to Memphis. I got a living goal in my soul. I ain't never been to Memphis. Got a great big goal in my soul. blues and rock and roll. I ain't never been to Memphis. I never been to Memphis. I ain't never been to Memphis. Got a baby gold in my soul. I ain't never been to Memphis. Got a baby gold in my soul. I ain't never been to Memphis. Got a baby gold in my soul. Come on, baby, let's go. Gotta get to Memphis. Hey. There you go.
Get my mic back on. Brilliant. Love it.
Thank you.
Oh, Memphis. Yeah. So that was the inspiration for writing that one. So what do you, how do you set about writing songs? What comes to you first? Do you play around with a riff, or do you have a phrase? You know,
it's interesting. I think it's all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they come from just that concept. Never been to Memphis, and but I thought too. I was kind of driving down the street, and I was like, "Oh, I need like a driving song."
Definitely a driving song. Yeah, yeah.
And so they kind of came together. But other songs, sometimes they come out really, really quickly, and sometimes they take forever.
Right.
Work out. I don't really have a method. Maybe I should.
Do you sometimes find that with songs that, I mean, I've got some friends who like to record something as soon as they've written it, and other people who will like to sort of road test them a bit. I mean, I don't know about you, but I find that with songs that they kind of change as you're playing them.
Yeah, I would prefer to play them first, but
Yeah.
that's not always been. I've not always had the ability to do so. Like with the Mother Blues album that song came out on, I was able to play that for a while. Although it changed in the studio as we recorded it, because I was lucky enough to have Carl Himmel on the drums. Carl's an amazing drummer. He's been around a long time. He played with unbelievable amounts of great people, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, people like that. And,
Yeah, wow.
and we're in the studio, and I always heard that song as kind of a Chuck Berry thing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Right. But he played a different kind of drum beat on it. And my first reaction was, wow, what is he doing? That's not what I was thinking. Then I was like, okay, kid, he's been doing this longer than you've been alive. And he totally changed the nature, and I loved the recording of that song. That's actually the original. That's the monitor mix that we used on the record. We couldn't beat it. It just came out like that. And it's just kind of like songs that are written. Sometimes I'll write one and it's done, just like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh my God, what's that?
Did you have a producer on that one?
On the first record?
That one you're talking about now?
It was me. My first record, I produced myself.
Yeah.
And
that's why I was asking, because you're saying about, you had this idea in your head, and the drummer came up with something completely different.
Right.
I did an album about 3 years ago with a producer for the first time, and I kind of sort of said, right, these are the songs, and I won't tell you what I want you to do with them, but if you do something that I don't like, I'll tell you that I don't like it. But apart from that, we're open to it. And it's a kind of strange feeling, really. I mean, it worked quite well.
It's kind of like giving yourself a haircut, which a lot of us have learned how to do that in the last 6 months.
Yeah. I've learned how to color Leslie's hair for her, which is, I think, is quite an impressive skill to have learned. So, songwriting. Do you so basically it just happens, really? You don't sort of plan, because I know some people, I mean, there's one friend of mine in Manchester, and when this lockdown started, he decided he would write a song a day.
Wow. And
he did it for a full month, and he's a good writer, great musician, good writer, and he posted them on the internet every day.
Yeah.
And
I just did that for a year, and then she kept going. Amazing.
Sorry, who did?
A friend of mine.
Oh, wow. Hang on, you've disappeared.
Yeah, I know. I don't have that kind of discipline. Oh, I'm not. Oh no, I can see you.
Yeah, your sound's drifting in and out. Okay, let's see. Has it calmed down?
Let me see. I'm turning off my Wi-Fi on the phone there. Maybe that'll help this signal. Is that any better?
Yeah, that sounds clearer. Yeah, that's well. Maybe it's just settled down a bit. So what's your next plans then?
I'm writing right now. Like, here's the one. I don't know. Like, if I sit down to write, I usually do it, but it's the discipline of it. Because they call it a craft for a reason. You know? No, because you have to spend time on it to get good at it. You know, I feel like I luck out sometimes, but I don't spend the amount of time that other people have. Although I set the intention this month. I'm going to sound all sneaky with the full moon on the 1st and the 31st. I'm like, you're writing an album this month, and I'm writing with a dear friend of mine in Miami who I worked with when I was a kid. Miriam Stone, and she has a studio called Blue Road Records, and I'm writing some stuff with her. I didn't know how it was going to go. You never know how it's going to go with other people. And to write together when I was probably 21, 22 years old, and we sat down, and it was that easy. And I'm like, okay. So I have 2 separate things going on there, and other friends. I'm open to it. I think that's.
Do you find? Do you actually take it? Is one of you write the words and the other writes the music, or is it more?
It depends on who you're working with. You know, I think it's always different. And I have a couple of really great songwriter friends that we've sat down to write, and nothing really happened. But you don't know. It's a chemistry thing, just as any other type of creative relationship. Like you can. I hate to admit it, but there's been people I've worked with in the past that maybe we weren't getting along so well. But as soon as we hit the stage, we were great.
Yeah.
And
oh gosh, yes.
I was like, oh my God, make me not talk to this guy. You know.
Yeah.
But it's you know, you just don't know how those things are going to work. You know?
I suspect there's every musician watching this now will be thinking, yes, I remember so and so, the one person who they could never get on with, and yet, I mean, I worked with somebody for some years who. I think I could honestly say I hated him, but it worked on stage. So we didn't see each other anywhere else, so it didn't really matter.
I didn't hate him, but we were both very young and very full of crap, probably at the time. You know, we both had our own issues. So, but I mean, for some reason, we just had really good stage chemistry.
Yeah. I remember somebody telling me the story some years ago about Ruby Braff, you know, Ruby Braff and George Barnes.
Okay.
Right. They played together for years and years and years. And apparently they hated each other's guts. And the first time they played together, they were booked to do the gig without knowing who they were playing with. And they turned up and they played, and the chemistry on stage was so good. That they carried on doing.
Yeah.
Do you know guitar player called Marty Gross? I don't know if he's still alive. He's a jazz player. Anyway, he used to work with George Barnes, and I said to him, was he really an unpleasant person? And he very diplomatically said he was quite difficult. I thought that was quite funny.
Oh, see?
but nevertheless, you know, people get on with it, you know.
Right.
So, come on, give us another tune. I want to hear another tune.
Okay. All right. This one, I always do this song. But this one it's stuck in my head. And I have a song that's been stuck in my head for 3 weeks, and it's kind of messing me up from the others. But this one got stuck in my head for a while, too. So it's one of the ones that I wrote probably, 18 pages of that line, this line, what's going to work, what's going to stick, because after a while, you're like, okay, I'll write already. Let me just do everything, every concept. It's funny how the nature of the song can change. Like maybe Never Been to Memphis is kind of hard to get away from.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's song of mine, and I'm not going to play that right now, but you mentioned Blame It on the Blues. Blame It on the Blues, the content and the story was not the original story I intended, but it turned, it was, and it was like, oh, wow, I didn't think I was going to write about that. But so this one
interesting.
changed because I kept hashing it. So
Okay.
I was touring in Australia. It's been 4 years ago, so that was right after I ran into you. I must have gone over there shortly after. So this is called "You Stole My Heart."
Okay, cool.
I got a tune. Here's the real part. Okay, sorry. You stole my heart when I was watching it. I just got it back. Should have kept it under lock and key. You stole my heart when I wasn't looking. I swear nobody else was gonna do that to me. Oh, I just don't understand how my heart's gone missing again. Does it mean I have to give you a chance in the stolen heart dance? You stole my heart right out on the dance floor. It's a larceny without consequence. It's a crime that pays. You stole my heart. How can you live with yourself? You're such a good thief. You left me in a daze. Oh, just wait till I tell my friends that my heart's gone missing again. I've been tricked into this new romance in the stolen heart dance. You stole my heart. Yeah. There you go.
Lovely, lovely. You talk about writing songs. Yes. It's people, we're talking about the blues essentially in what you do and what I do to a great extent. Do you ever write happy songs, do you think? or optimistic songs?
Oh my God. I try all the time, It's like I'm trying to change my own mind. Part of the reason I'm writing now is I think a lot of people went through this. Writers, I was writing when we got locked down. But for me, in my process of this pandemic and all the repercussions, I got really, really dark and in a really hard place mentally. And I was trying real hard, and all the skills that I've acquired in my years on the planet were not really effective to handle what was going on. And one of the things I'd done before is I would write, but it was coming out so dark that I shut it down. In retrospect, it probably wasn't a good idea. I should have just written them and burned them or never played them for anybody, to keep the flow. And then it was like I just shut down completely,
Yeah.
Block.
That's interesting.
But
I've often thought about when you see or read about things like, you know, the Brill building in the 50s, and how people used to like churn songs out, like they churn a song out every day. And
Right.
in fact, when I was in Memphis, we went to the Stack studio, and they were saying the same things, that the guys would go in there and they'd write a song, and then they'd get to the end of the day and say, no, I don't like that, throw it away and start over again. And I think if you do it in that sort of environment, it must be quite different, because you're producing a product at the end of the day. Whereas if you're writing like you do, which is an integral part of what you do, but it's not sort of timetabled in any way, it's going to be more affected by what's going on around you, isn't it?
Right. Well, maybe I should be like pushing that. I'm working on that part. Never.
But I think happy songs are very difficult to write.
Well, I mean, you got to be happy to write happy songs. Hey, listen, I never trust a blues singer that's not been clinically depressed.
Okay, I'll sign up for that one. Yeah, but we hide it well.
I know about it, but no. I try. Like, I think a lot of times, like, stuff that I write is more conceptual. Maybe people don't hear about it. Like, I always want people to feel better. Like, oh, you know, okay. So I wanted to write a song kind of talking about being raised by rock and roll. I was born in 1970. Like, you know, the Beatles were on Love, Love, Love. You know, that was what I learned. Now, listen to what people are hearing when they're young. You know, we're so different. But I want to write stuff that, like, has a concept. Like, there's something on that first record called Let Your Love Shine. And that's what it is. You know, I'll see you later behind the sun, like, after you go. You know, and that was something that I had with the conversation. One of the last conversations I had with someone who was passing away. I was when we said, see you later, you know, so that came from, so there's kind of concepts like that. And I want people to feel better about things.
You've locked up again. Hang on.
There's no difference.
Are you back? Yes, you're back. Your voice is breaking up a bit. Yeah, I think in terms of like blues singers, I mean, I think that Keb Mo seems to be able to write happy songs.
He's like my emotional hero.
Yeah, I think he's great.
He's so, like, emotionally healthy. It's like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because he's doing the work, man, and that's really what a blues writer, a singer, like, you know, that's what you're writing about, your experience. So if you start hearing happy stuff, it means I'm getting better. I have to say that.
Excellent. Okay, what are you going to play for us next?
Well, let's play a dark one now. Let's let me think. Oh my God. Well, let's do this. Do some finger picking stuff. This is called View from Here. And this was kind of picking around, figuring out. I'm now living in Florida again, but I was in Kansas trying to figure out what I was going to do. So here's View from Here. I know who I am, but I can't say where I wanna go from here. I could just sit on down and watch the world go by slow, but I'm tired of the view from here. I got something to the left and something that seems right. I don't know which way to turn. I could just sit on down and watch the world go by slow, but I'm tired of the view from here. Please help me figure it out. Lord, guide me without a doubt. Please help me find a way that I could change my view so this blues goes away. I get the blues every morning, the blues every night. I get the blues all year round. I know if I don't do something about these blues, and they're gonna put me in the ground. Please help me figure it out. Lord, guide me without a doubt. Please help me find a way that I can change my view so this blues goes away. But I can change my view by moving on. Or I could just change my mind. Or I could sit on down and watch your world go by slow and pretend just like there ain't no time. And pretend just like there ain't no time. And pretend just like there ain't no time.
Great stuff. I was watching your style. I mean, because you studied classical guitar as well, didn't you?
I did. I studied classical guitar. I actually have a degree, a bachelor's degree in classical guitar. So,
right.
Yeah, it's fun.
But you must have been. I mean, you were obviously into the blues before you did your degree. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember going to school. I was a violinist originally.
Right.
And I thought I'd have a nice job in an orchestra and play guitar in the living room. And then all kinds of crazy things happened. And I ended up studying guitar. I transferred schools, and they told me, well, I said, can I take a guitar lesson while I'm doing the degree? Oh, no. All our classes were full. So the short story is my audition tape got lost. And I had to do one with no accompaniment on violin, and I was all stressed out. I felt like this was horrible. And my boyfriend was the guitar player, and I looked at him and I said, give me your guitar. So I put some guitar at the end of the tape, and then they called me and they said, the good news is you've been accepted to the school. We want you to come. The bad news is we want you to play guitar. We think guitar player. And I was like, what? You know, it's like that was the end of that one. You know, he was like so mad. He was supposed to be the guitar player. So anyway, yeah, I came to school down here at University of Miami, and met one of my best girlfriends in the world, Heather Faldudo, who plays with Super Chicken. She plays bass with him. And we started going to shows together. We didn't have a concert buddy. And then I took her to see Buddy Guy, and I didn't know who he was. We both didn't. And we met him, and the rest is history. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
How did you meet him then?
It was a freak accident. We just saw him in the bus. We're like, hey, you know, and he was laughing. He told me he was laughing at me because I wasn't wearing any shoes. And he's like, you remind me of a little poor kid in shoes. You know, he was pretty close. You know, it was like that. Not that bad, but close. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of a thing. And he was always super nice to us. And as he's done with so many young people, I mean, that's part of being an ambassador of this stuff, you know, which he is, and B.B. King has been, and so many other people. But he was always nice to us and had us sit in, and it was.
So you played with him as well, didn't you, with Buddy Guy?
We did. We sat in with him, Heather and I together. I was mortified. I was so mortified. I think I was studying classical, but I'd had an electric guitar for maybe 3 months. When that happened. And it was an incredible thing, because I started to play, and the first song, I don't know who that was playing. It was a lot better than I could do. And I felt like my hands weren't touching the guitar. It was a crazy thing. The second song was all me. It changed things. I remember going back to the university and saying, I played with Buddy Guy, and nobody knew what I was talking about. Now they know.
Right.
Now they know. But, you know, I played with Buddy Guy last night. I was like 19, 20 years old.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you played with him since?
No. That was it. No, you know what? That was right around the time, and it's interesting to me. Brother John just sent me a message. I wonder if he's on here. He was his piano player at the time. He's the one that runs the jam at Legends, or has for a long time. And he was on that tour where that was when Buddy Guy blew up. Like at that time, he was in a van, like the rest of us.
Right.
And really, and that was when his career just completely blew up. And we'd go say hi to him, and then he's in an RV, then he's in a bus, and then I mean, it was just like this whole thing was happening. So it was quite a different trajectory for Buddy and the people around him at that time, you know. So it was.
So what's he like now? That's the question. Is he the same person?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
When I've heard him interviewed, he seems quite normal.
Right. He was always really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember him telling me, because I was really shy, like, oh my God, I couldn't do it. And he was like, he would just sit there and tell me cool stuff, you know. And he's like, I was shy like you, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Things like that. So I think about that when the hordes of people around, the weird part of being that famous, how strange, how isolated you must actually feel.
Yeah, it must be.
Because people are around your persona and not around your person. But
interesting you say about being shy. It's it doesn't surprise me anymore, but it used to surprise me how many people I met who are performers, people who perform for a living, who deep down inside are actually very, very shy.
Introverts. Yeah, I'm definitely in that thing. It's funny, like I'll tell, like I'm teaching again now, on as much as I can. A lot of my young students, with school being online, it's, as we were talking about before we got on the show, it's just too much for them to be on Skype or whatever medium we're using. It's too much for them to do it all day long. But I tell that story to a lot of young people because it's surprising to me how I handle myself. I'll be talking to people and I'll think like, oh my God, you know, how did you ever do that? Like I was the kid in high school that didn't want to talk to anyone. And I still feel like that, like maybe sometimes people think I'm standoffish or snobby, and it's a shyness thing that I have to work real hard to overcome.
Yeah, it is. But sometimes I think what we all do, because I'm very much the same, is that I people think I'm quite confident, but in other circumstances I'm absolutely petrified of my wits. And so what happens is, like, I can remember when I first started going to jam sessions, that the house band would play and they say, right, who wants to sit in? And I'd be the first one there. And I'd be the first one there, not because I was confident, but because I knew that if I didn't be the first one there, I wouldn't do it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just, because I can remember not being the first one there and then thinking, oh, well, I don't fancy it anymore, and sitting there quietly. So now, it's. But other people would have seen somebody that they thought was quite confident, whereas it's completely the opposite.
That's funny. Yeah, Heather, that I was speaking about, she's more shy than I am now. She would say that, which is surprising to me. But she was such an extrovert, and I don't think if we hadn't not done it together, I don't think we would have survived it. It's hard. I mean, we were going to bars before we were allowed to be in this country. You had to be told. And it's noise. Oh, my amp is making noise.
Okay, do you want to place another tune?
Sure. What do you think?
What was the one we talked about before?
Blame It on the Blues.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
See if I can. Let me see if I can get through this one.
I know it's in F. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, I almost couldn't remember that. That's why I played. I forgot a little bit.
I've got the chords written down here. I wrote them down this morning.
Dan and I played at a venue that we love. It's always been good to us, and we were outside in a tent a few weeks ago. But short of that, I haven't been playing out for a while. So I'm like, oh, how's this?
Yeah, well, I think we're all the same. I mean, you don't feel you're not ready, not match fit, as they say.
Right.
I definitely don't feel that. Okay.
Blame It on the Blues.
Okay, cool.
I keep on trying. to win with you, and you keep on fighting, lying, telling me you're true. But I know how hearts work, and making sense ain't in the rules. I always lose. I'll just blame it on the blues. I keep on believing everything you say. The things always turn out. They always turn out the same old way. And I just run right on back to you. I'm always the fool. I just blame it on the blues. I'm tired of trying to figure out what went wrong. I can't sleep no more. Staying up all night long. Everything I think to do, everything I want to do, it just seems wrong. So all I can do is just blame it on the blues. I keep on waiting for you to change your ways. And just how long can I take this pain? How many more hours? How many more days? 'Cause I know how hearts work. Baby, how could you be so easily confused? So why you take this time to choose? I'll just blame it on the blues. I can't believe what you put me through. I'll just blame it on the
I love that song. That's wonderful. Love it. Love it.
I didn't know if I was going to make it through it. Woo!
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, it's a hard one to work at, that, isn't it? But lovely. Love it. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, on YouTube, there's the clip of you in a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come about? For those of you watching back home, it's made that. Well, God, I forgot what it's called. Will a Circle Be Unbroken?
Yeah.
And it's Rachelle and a French singer, and is he the slide player is
yeah, Nico Wayne Toussaint and Michel Foison. is the guitar player. He's playing
the dobro, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I worked with those guys, that was about a year ago. And we just went in the studio to do some live stuff. And I get to talk about it now. Because the last song that I just played, we did that too. We just haven't put out the video yet. And that's
right. Cool.
That'll be
Look
cool.
forward to that.
I absolutely love those guys. They're
Fabulous sound.
musicians and beautiful people. And we went.
So, did you meet them in France, or are they based in the States?
They're in France. I was,
right.
And that's like one of my favorite things that's ever happened in a studio. You never know what you're going to capture. It's just like taking a picture, and recordings. Now that we can manipulate recordings, we can pictures so much. It used to be only like the cover models would get some nip and tuck here and there, and now everybody can do it. And the same with music. Like you could go back and edit things or whatever. But we did that live, and I was super proud of how that came out, and it was just I'm really glad to be part of that performance. I know it sounds goofy to say that.
No, absolutely. No, it is truly beautiful, I have to say. The thing is, when I saw it and I saw his surname was Toussaint, my immediate thought was Alan Toussaint, but it's clearly no relation.
Well, there probably is somewhere along the line.
Somewhere back in history, yeah.
And Alan's my favorite, one of my absolute favorite writers. I listen to his stuff all the time. People like that give me the nerve to do something different. Because he never fit in a box for anything, and yet he was R&B, or there's blues that's Bonnie Raitt stuff doesn't fit in the box. Robert Cray, like that first record that I did, there was a song in there called Between the Tracks, and a whole lot of major sevenths, and I thought, I don't know if this goes on a blues record. And then I thought, well, Robert Cray does stuff that he just does, and I try to,
I was thinking about Robert Cray before, actually, when you were talking about, or when we were talking about sort of how people approach things, and Kevin Moe being a cheerful sort of guy. And Robert Cray said in an interview, he was asked about, how valid is it, being a happy, successful man, how valid is it to write blues songs? And he said he has an alter ego. He imagines he's got this other character who lives a totally different life to him. And it's the songs he writes are from his alter ego standpoint, which I thought was quite interesting.
But that's maybe that's more healthy.
Yes. Yes, I think maybe.
A while ago, a friend of mine, I'm just thinking about him too, in Chicago when this lockdown was really heavy, and I was like, I used to be a blues singer, now I'm just singing the blues, like. and then
that's a great line for a song.
I've told people I turned 50 in the lockdown. I'm not ashamed. I know the music business and whatever. I made it. I'm still here. It's kind of awesome. I was in Italy when they locked it down. I had to get home.
You said you were lucky.
Yes, I was. I'm lucky all the time to be alive. I wake up every morning and go, "Thank you for waking me up," because we don't know what's going on with this stupid disease. It's damn scary.
No, absolutely.
And anyway, if we have that attitude, it helps a bit. But I was like, I've lived the blues enough. I don't have to keep living them. I have enough experience. Past 50 years to draw on.
Yeah, no more experience, please. Yeah.
Maybe that's the alter ego of.
Yeah, you've had your fill. I used to be a blues singer. Now I'm just singing the blues. I think it's a great line. That.
Yeah, there it is.
It's got to be a song. Listen, would you like to do one more song for us? Because I'd love to hear you do another song.
I'm trying to think of what. Get my list. Oh, I know what I'll do. Because I think it was at that. Oh my God. I think it was that same trip that I wrote this song.
All right.
Right. Down at the crossroads.
At the crossroads, yeah.
Was that it? Did I have my bass player Beaver Howard there with me?
I don't think so. I think you're on your own.
I can't remember.
Well, the only I mean, we didn't see you apart from that night. That's the only time we saw you there, because we were only there for 4 days.
Because we did the BB King. It was around the BB King homegoing thing that they did here. Anyway, Watermelon Slim, who lives in Clarksdale, Mississippi, he and I both had it. And this is going to make a lot of people mad, but we were both like, I don't know if the real crossroads is really at the crossroads sign, right? So he had this vibe too, and he must be right because we have the same birthday. That makes sense to me. So I said, where do you think it is? Take us down there. So he took me and my bass player, Beaver Howard, and this kid from Brazil that I ended up staying with in New Zealand, of all places. I mean, Sandino, Sandino, if you're out there, hey, my buddy. So Sandino was going to busk his way up to Chicago, and I was like, this is not 1920. You're going to get killed. Just get in the van. We got you, So anyway, we go down to where the crossroads, where Slim thought it was, and I kind of thought it was the same thing because 49 and 61 cross 7 times. It's like a
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they cross like 4 or 5 times or something. Where is this crossroads?
Right. Okay.
We get there, and it's close to it, and there's a graveyard, of course. So Slim's trying to scare the crap out of us, and a bit easily scared. So he gets out of the car, grabs a guitar, and starts singing, Robert Johnson stuff like he's going to sell his soul. And I was standing there, and I was like, oh, hell no. I am no deals. I ain't making no deals. So
that's brilliant.
I went back to where I was staying and wrote this tune. So this is called No Deals.
Excellent. Oh, good story.
To the crossroads, I see the headstones in the fields. The devil can't take my soul. No, I won't let it go. I won't let it go. I ain't taking no deals. I ain't making no deals. Into existence, speak love and make your way. Don't let evil get you in a bind. That devil living in the world, and he living in your mind. I ain't taking no deals. I ain't making no deals. Well, my soul ain't up for sale. It ain't up for no steal. I ain't gonna kneel down to no crossroads. I sure as hell ain't making no deals. I ain't making no deals. I ain't taking no deals. I ain't making no deals. I ain't making no deals.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Knockout.
It scared me really bad.
I like the idea of it being a different, because of course there's another argument that says it wasn't Robert Johnson either, isn't there?
Oh, I haven't.
That it was somebody called Tommy Johnson, no relation.
I never heard that. Well, you know,
Yeah.
my grandfather's name is Robert Johnson.
Oh, right.
He was on that Robert Johnson.
Excellent.
I'm getting old, but I'm not that old yet.
Well, I've got a great grandfather who was called Moses, so that's even worse, you know. I've often thought about using his name, actually, because I think Moses Jones sounds like a sort of fairly authentic blues name.
You know, I have a friend of mine. I think he put out a record called Moses. Did Jerry Hahn put out a record called Moses? A friend of mine that's on that first Mother Blues album.
Yeah.
It's on tracks. I think he has an album called Moses.
I'll have to check that out.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Brilliant. Rachelle, it's been absolute delight to see you again 4 years later. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for playing all your lovely songs and singing so beautifully. Fantastic. Thank you. And keep in touch, and then we'll want to know when you'll be back on the road and when you're doing things, when you're coming over to Europe and all that sort of stuff. And
I think I set the intent to write this record by the end of the month. I think I need to get it recorded by the end of the year. I think I'm going to do
right.
that.
Okay. You've said that it's down on tape now. Well, not tape anymore, but it's down somewhere. Brilliant. Thanks again, and see you again soon.
Love to you. Stay healthy. Love you guys. Stay safe.
Thank you. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that was good. Great voice. Fantastic voice. Great songs. Good guitar playing. Interesting style, actually. I like that sort of semi-classical style with the thumb. Amazing. Well, that's about it from me. Next week we've got Elise Mason on. This is a last minute thing. She's stepped into the breach, as they say, because I was meant to be in Italy next week, but for all sorts of reasons, I won't be going. So next week I've got Elise in the studio, and the week after we've got George Borowski, the guitar George, who knows all the chords. He's the man. And the week after that, we've got Alina Lee in. So a star-studded cast. So do come and join me. This will be going out onto the YouTube channel in the next couple of days. And I think for now, thanks for dropping in, and see you again next week. Cheers. Stay safe.